Hey everybody, it's Gunpla. Welcome back to my channel. And before we start into today's review, I want to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of my channel, NewTypeHQ.com. I want to have the link down in the description below. And don't forget to use my code Gunpla to save yourself 10% off your total order. Now, let's get into the goods of the video. So today I'm going to be reviewing this guy right here. Now, a lot of you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Unicorn because I'm honestly tired of Bandai releasing 5,000 variants when I would rather have them doing other kits, but that's just my opinion. So I'm kind of exhausted at Unicorn being constantly thrown in your face. Again, that's just how I feel. But I actually wanted to pick him up because this is the narrative version from the movie that was recently released not too long ago. And it has the little pigtails, as I like to call them, or ponytails. I don't know the official terminology, okay? But I'm gonna call them pigtails / ponytails. And that's really the only reason why I got this kit, was because I just thought that was really cool. Not a lot of people don't like him, but I do. So that's why I got this kit, because I just thought, like, that was pretty cool. So that is it for the box art. As you can see here, looks really intense and awesome. Here's some more pictures of the kit itself. What's the side of the box? Winry, of course, she's got to bring her bone in here so she can chew and piss you guys off. So I'm going to take this thing. As you can see, she's gnawed off a whole bunch. Anyways, that's it for the box. Now let's get into the kit. Starting off with, you get several different types of hands. Let me zoom in on here. Oddly, it doesn't come with 6. You get 2 open palm, 2 closed, and 1 gun holding hand. And that's it. Usually I would expect it to come with 6, but here are just 5 sets of hands. The shield, the weapon that it comes with, this is the only one. Another ammo pack, and lastly these 2 beam sabers, which I absolutely love. This kind of baby blue color, it's really cool. Aside from the traditional green or pink, I'm really liking this blue. I think it looks really good against the gold. Now, before I even get started into the articulation of the kit, which isn't that great, to be honest, there's one glaring issue I want to point out, and for some it may be a deal breaker, but it is honestly those nub marks. Now, usually nub marks honestly don't bother me too much because I just, you know, put my kits on display and you can't see them from far away. But on this guy, because they are not undergated and it's all gold on the outside, the nub marks are super obvious. I mean, you could readily see them all over the kit. I mean, they're even on the very front here. You could see on the fin, the V fin, it's right there smack dab right in the middle. And the arms, the legs, the feet, I mean, they're just everywhere. You'll be seeing them as I review the kit, but honestly, that's probably the biggest negative aside from the articulation, is those freaking nub marks. Anyways, let's get into reviewing the kit. Now, this guy does have somewhat of a balancing issue because these are kind of heavy. These shields in the back, he does tend to fall over to the back a lot. However, these little ponytails, as I like to call them, do support the weight. So if you just kind of pin them against the floor, it holds them up just fine. So that's really not a big problem. Now let's look at the articulation of the head. It is able to swivel all around, look up and down. Now, for the shoulders, there is a slight range of motion, up and down, a little bit of side to side. Then in terms of the torso, there's absolutely no ab crunch in here. I mean, like, there's somewhat of a wiggle, but yeah, that's nothing. So no dynamic poses of, you know, them super action shots. Yeah, you're not gonna happen with this guy. Now, in terms of the skirts, they are one solid piece. You can cut it down the middle and of course have, you know, each side having a different position. These side skirts can move up and down. There's no swivel. You cannot move it left and right. Now, in terms of the back skirt, that is fixed in place, so there's no movement there. Now, in terms of the arms, he does bend that far, so a little more than 90 degrees. I do like that the hands are fixed. He is able to prop this open like so and remove a beam saber from there. And the the shield gets attached right in here with these 2 little prongs, and you attach it just like that. and it's pretty good. It's not very unsecure. You can see that it's not falling off at all, so I like that mechanism a lot. Now in terms of the lower portion, he is able to kick that far, and bend at the knee is not the best. Again, like maybe that's probably less than, well no, just about 90 degrees. There's absolutely no bend anywhere here. There's no mechanism. It's just one long piece. The ankle is not the best. So you do have movement front and back, and there's a little bit of side to side. Now, again, this is a high grade kit, so you know, you already come into it expecting not the best articulation, but the new high grades actually are very well articulated. There is no mechanism here, so no hinge, nothing, so you cannot, you know, do my favorite toe bend here. None of that happens. There's no hinge back here either, so none of this, basically this whole foot is just one solid piece, which kind of sucks, because if you want to, you know, do like a pose where he's kind of bending forward, you cannot, you know, push these toes. So that's kind of annoying in terms of articulation and posing and stuff. Now let's take a look at the back. He's looking crazy. Now these are actually pretty well articulated. However, you kind of have to go in this range of motion, because if you bend backwards, it just doesn't look right. They're all kind of sort of sloping in one direction. They don't tend to pop off on me very often, but sometimes they do. But again, so this kind of limits you in how you want to pose them, again, because you could really only go in this kind of sloping direction, because if you do any other pose, it looks really kinky and weird, and it just doesn't look right. So I don't know I don't know how I feel about these tails or ponytails, but I actually like the design of them and how they look. I just thought they would be better articulated. Now let me pry off his back contraption. There we go. So you can get a look at the kit without the backpack. It looks just like that. Now let's look at the backpack here with the shields attached. Now you can see that I have the two beam sabers stuck on there. Now these shields are able to move around like so, so they do have a little bit of range, not much however. They cannot really go forward and backwards, so really the only range of motion you're going to get is just right and left. That's about it. So let me show you guys a little bit of size comparison so you can get the gist of how big or small this kit is. So here he is standing next to the high grade RX-78 and I brought out the master grade Phenex Gundam. It's a little flimsy. Oh, I'm always very careful to even touch this guy because this guy just flops over all the time on me. There we go. I'm like scared to even touch him. Yeah, so not the tallest Gundam, but you know, it's okay in terms of size. Now I really love the gold coloring of this high grade in terms of the gold that they used on the Phenex, because this is more kind of like a pale gold, and I really like this deep yellow gold. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can kind of see the difference between the two colors. I don't know which one you guys prefer. They're both really pretty, but I just like the warmth that comes from this type of yellow plated gold that they use on this unicorn right here. Not saying the Phenex isn't bad. I mean, they're both great kits, but I mean, great in quotation marks. They're good at standing there. That's about it. You're getting no poses out of this thing, really. At least, maybe I just suck at posing, but for me, they just stand just like that in my display cases. No poses, because they kind of just can't really pull off any poses, in my opinion. So, do I think you guys should get this kit? Do I recommend it? That's kind of hard to say, because honestly, this kit was kind of pricey for what you're getting, and it doesn't pose well. It's basically just a brick kit. It's just gonna stand just like this and look pretty. So if that's something that doesn't really bother you, then go for it. But honestly, you can get much better kits for this price than what I paid for this one. And aside from that, because obviously I didn't do any research when I bought this kit, I, for some reason, for some crazy thought that I had, I thought that this kit would transform. I don't know why I thought that, but I was getting really excited to because I just like the way the blue / greenish inner frame looks with the gold, and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna look so great standing next to the Phenex, and oh, lost balance. And no, let me warn you right now that this kit does not transform at all. So for those of you who are like me and think this kit transforms, it does not. So let me warn you right there, you don't get a transforming kit. It just looks just like this, you know, the regular unicorn pose, no, you know, cycle mode, nothing. This is what you get. What you see is what you get. So again, I'm gonna have to say this is probably a pass for me. I did enjoy building it. I do like these kind of gold plated kits. It's just the fact that it doesn't pose well or has a lack of articulation. The freaking nub marks are everywhere. I mean, what's the point of getting a gold plated kit and then you're gonna have to sand down nub marks, which is gonna ruin it even more, and then have to paint it? What was the point of paying extra for a gold plated kit when you gotta paint it, right? I mean, I'd rather just get the basic one, do all the work, and then airbrush it and you can get the same finish. So I guess this is more of a kit for those who lack airbrush ability or who don't have somewhere they can airbrush. I guess this would be obviously the alternative if you're not able to airbrush the regular kit. So like again, I'm gonna have to say this is a pass for me, but hey, if this is something that you really want, this is one of your favorite kits, then go for it. Don't let my opinion tell you not to. I do think the kit looks really pretty, and I do like these little tails. Some people don't like them, but I actually really enjoy these little ponytails, is what I call them. And that's my 2 cents on this kit. Alright, so that's it for the review. I don't know, tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Did you think it was going to transform like I did? Because that's a big whoopsie on my part. I should have looked into it more. I don't know why. I don't know why I think all unicorns transform, because I guess that's not a thing. Not all unicorn models transform, so that's a big oopsie on my part. But honestly, I think for what, the $30 to $40 price range, it's not a bad kit. I mean, obviously with that you could get like 2 high grades at that point, so it just depends on what your budget is and what you think is expensive for a kit. For me, this is kind of on the pricey end, but I do like that gold plating, so I think, you know, it may be worth it. Again, it's just kind of a personal preference, but at the end, do I recommend this? Nah, I would say pass and go for a better kit, you know, a real grade or something, maybe even a master grade, because you could probably buy a master grade for what this kit goes for. Anyways, that's it for the review. I hope you guys liked it. Oh, and before I forget, I have not forgotten about the giveaway. I will probably be picking the winner my next video, so probably next week I'll have the winner announced. Anyways, I'll catch you guys around for the next one. Adios.